Yeah, it's been interesting because last week was, I think it was the Four of Wands, and it really did feel appropriate. At least for myself, I found that it was like really a building week, and it definitely tapped into the new moon energy. The interesting thing one of the reasons I like to explore and experiment this stuff is because I like to play around with themes in like my life and how themes can be used as a form of magic. And so tarot is a good way, or oracle cards are a good way to experiment with that. And if you've never really like applied like a thematic approach to your life, I highly recommend it. One of the themes that I'm using right now, like for my year, is the theme of curious embodied integrity. Like, what does it mean to be to embody integrity? Been an interesting move for that. It's really forced me to take a good hard look at some things in my life and say, okay, am I really embodying integrity, or are there areas that need to change? I mean, one would hope that that would occur in a year like that, right? And it definitely has. It's definitely been a very fascinating year for me. Um, so in this case, with this experiment, in a very real sense, what I'm doing is I'm applying a theme for the week. And if only this long of you, it may be a theme that also is something that's relevant to you. Now, one thing I also would suggest is to take it in and ask yourself, how does this apply to me? And if it does apply to you, like what can you do to work with it? And how it applies to you may be different than how it applies to me. I mean, it's not a theme is a theme, right? Doesn't mean that you're automatically going to okay, it was the Four of Wands, so I have to apply it the way Taylor applies it. No, it's how does the Four of Wands apply to me? Like that's what you want to be thinking about when you're thinking about a thematic approach here. So our theme for the week, if you will, let's find out. I'm beating the drum here, right? I might also add that if you find that if any of this is landing with you and you're like, oh, hey, I want to get a reading with Taylor, well, you definitely can. In the show notes below here, you'll see how you can sign up for a reading with me. I love working with people. And all right, now we're going to pull our card. Our card of the week is the Seven of Cups. And here we see, in this case, if you're a DC Comics fan, a Green Lantern, and she is connecting with not just the green, but also the other rings. If you're not really familiar with this, I'll just say like very briefly, comic books wise, like I'm a bit of a comic book nerd. Okay, I like DC Comics. I actually like Marvel Comics more. I should really get one of these decks for like a Marvel Comics thing. I haven't yet, so that may be something I look at getting. But even so, as a DC fan, like here's Green Lantern. Green is the power of will, according in the comic books. Blue is the power of hope. Compassion is the power of purple. The lavender there, or the like the star, that's love. And then let's see there is fear is yellow, avarice or greed is orange, and red is rage. So, okay, we might say, okay, Seven of Cups. How does this apply to us here? How does these different colors? Well, you have the full cup of life that you can drink from emotionally, right? You have choices in your life. So this week, this is a really good reminder to ask yourself, which cup do I want to drink from? Do I want to approach this week with a focus on will? Do I need to instead focus on hope? Is there fear present in my life? Maybe where am I drinking from that fear, and how can I use that fear to motivate me, or any of the other emotions/experiences that I mentioned? What this card is really saying, and again, I'm basing this in part on the DC Read comics of it, but also on the actual Seven of Cups, is choose your cup wisely. Choose what you drink from wisely. Because what you bring into your life, what you manifest, what you call forth matters. And what you take in matters just as much because it informs what you put out into the world. This is a week to really sit with what am I what am I drawing from? What am I taking in so that whatever it is that I put out into the world, it's a reflection of that. And let me be clear, there's no shame here. Like if the cup that you're drinking from is the cup of anger or the cup of fear, those are valid experiences to have. It's all a question of how do we express those experiences. Are we expressing it in a healthy way, in a way that actually, like anger, for example, it could be like maybe you do need to drink from the cup of anger this week because there's something you need to express. Maybe a boundary's been crossed or whatever, or something else in your life. Well, you could draw on that and say, how can I express this anger in a healthy way? Again, there are like emotions are not inherently negative or good or positive. They are expressions and experiences of ourselves. And it's really about learning to tap into our internal wisdom. And so, like with the Seven of Cups here, this is what it's really calling on is saying, hey, tap into your internal wisdom, connect with what's really in your heart, and then decide, like how you're going to call that forth. Because as you can see, this guy has got his arms raised. He is sending this energy out into the world as well. So that's a really important thing to look at. Like, what is it that I want to send out into the world? All right, that is the one card drawing of the week. Now, in a little under a half hour live, if you're watching this later after the fact, you'll have missed it. But a little under a half hour, I'm going to be getting on live with Anthony Rella to talk about long-term magic. So hope to see some of you there. And again, thank you for checking out this little experiment I'm running. I'll be doing this for at least another week or two, and then I'll see if I want to continue it. But it's been fun so far, so I suspect I'll probably continue it. Anyway, take care and have a great day.